Right, you lot. That was disgraceful. But let's talk Villa. So, Aston Villa have just lost 4-0 at home to Tottenham Hotspurs, a game that we really, really needed to win. The players needed to turn up in, and they didn't. It was a humongous, what can only be described as bottle job. And I think every player on that pitch should literally be very, very ashamed of what they've done today. And in one particular player who I will single out in a little bit of time. And I want to preface this video by saying a couple of things before we get into the ratings, before we get into like how I think of the game. I love this Villa team. We're fourth in the Premier League still above you, Spurs. Sorry, you did play fantastically today, but we're still above you. So pipe down just for now until you win your game in hand. I love Emery. I think he's doing an absolutely magnificent job with Villa. I think anyone would be stupid to argue against that. But I really can't get on board with this positivity brigade that say every time we lose a game, but look at what we're doing in general, you can't, why you jump, and I am going to jump on the team for this game. I love all of these players. I think they're some of the best players that Villa have had, especially in the Premier League era. But a lot of them, their bottoms literally and hypothetically fell out of themselves onto the pitch today, and they have to be held accountable. I've seen a couple of things about fans leaving early as well. If I paid, I couldn't go today, it's Mother's Day, commitments and stuff, you can see a little card in the background. I was thinking about it, but we're just too far pregnant now. But if I had paid money to go to that game, I would have been out of there as soon as that third goal went in. I've got places to be, I've got work tomorrow, I'm not paying money to see Aston Villa players not do things for the crowd. But we'll get onto all of that a little bit later on. Let's start with my player ratings. If I skirt over here, we'll start off with Martinez in goal, a 4. Didn't really have that much to do, and when he was called into action, the ball went in the back of the net. Digne, first of all, the formation as well, we'll get onto that in a bit, but we did play 5 at the back. God knows why. Digne, 4, Powell, 4, Longley, 4. That side of the pitch, we were being a little bit exposed, but it wasn't as bad as the other side. Konsa 3, absolutely terrible error for their second goal, which absolutely killed the game dead. It was gone after that. And then Cash 2, every time he got the ball I was just screaming at him to just boot it, because with that type of the game that we set out to play today, which again we'll get onto, Cash just doesn't fit that. He's so terrible on the ball. And Brennan Johnson was not only cooking him, but he was cooking McGinn as well. Brennan Johnson played an absolute blinder today. What a player, by the way. And he just had Matty Cash literally looking like... was it Gemma Collins done skating on ice? That is what Matty Cash looked like today. Gemma Collins doing skating on ice. It was abysmal. And then Louise 3, again, every time he gets touched, he just goes down looking for a foul. And then when he doesn't get it, he just cries on the pitch for a bit. Ever since he got back with Alicia Lehman, he has gone downhill. Tielemans, you know what, fair enough. He actually runs and tries, and he's quickly becoming one of my favourite players this season. He gets a 4. McGinn gets a 0. He acted not like an Aston Villa captain, but like a 16-year-old playing down the Astro. Do I think it was a straight red? No. Should John McGinn, Aston Villa's captain, 2-0 down at a massive home game, give the referee the chance to give him a red card by not even going for the ball, literally just kicking the player? No, he put himself in that position. He's let Aston Villa down. We'll be without him for West Ham, Wolves and Man City, and he might have just completely killed our chances of, I'm going to say it, getting top 5, because United look good at the moment as well. And then up front, Bailey 2. I get that Bailey was being played 1 out of position, and 2, he is not a back-to-goal type of player. He needs the ball in at his feet so he can run at defence. I don't know why Emery thought it was a good idea to put him up there. But he gets a 2 because he just looked like he couldn't be asked for the large majority of this game. Like he was sulking that he had to play that. Make of it what you will. And then Watkins 2 as well. Didn't really get much of the ball. And when he did, he reverted back to the same old Ollie Watkins he looks like. He just doesn't want to score. He doesn't want to shoot. Doesn't have confidence running through his veins. I don't know what happened to him today, whether it was just the way the team was set up, but not fantastic for me at all. What would your player ratings be down below? Man of the match for me would be obviously a Tottenham player, probably Brennan Johnson, because he was just skimming players the whole entire game. He played an absolute blinder, and all of those Aston Villa players bottled it today. They bottled it when it mattered. But let's get into the game and give you my thoughts on that. So first off, we'll start with the stats of the game. And as you can see, we lost 4-0, obviously, at home, a place that we won, 14 games in a row or 14 games undefeated, or it might have even been a win streak at home. And now we are getting outplayed. 69% possession for Spurs, only 31 for Villa, of course. Yes, we had more shots, but out of 10 shots, we had 1 on target. So that tells you about the quality of shots that we're having. And Spurs had 5 on target, making the most of their 5 and scoring 4. What's that? More than doubling our passes. Anyway, we'll get rid of the stats. It doesn't matter. Let's get into the game itself. Aston Villa players bottled it today. And I think Emery bottled it as well. And that's fair to say. And look, Emery's a fantastic manager, don't get me wrong. He's an absolute wonder of a man for Aston Villa. What he's done for this football club and where he's got us. But why on earth today, at home, in the biggest game of the season, did we go 5 at the back with the instruction to play it around the back and just knock long balls and hope? When has that worked for us this season? When we played Man City at home, we were aggressive, we were pressing, we played the 4-4-2, we got the ball into Bailey's feet and he ran at players and look what happened, we won. Arsenal was a little bit different. We started like that and then they grew into the game. We had to defend, that's fair enough. But changing to 5 at the back in a game like this and telling the players to play it long and just hope and just dig our heels in and see if we can get a clean sheet was probably one of the biggest blunders in management that Emery's done for Villa so far this season. And that's fair to say. We've had a fantastic season, but he got it completely wrong today, literally from the start. I remember we were at Morrison's and I turned around to the missus and I said, why on earth are we going 5 at the back? We have bottled this already. We've bottled it already. I said, that is a terrible decision. Spurs, the way they play, their pace up front. Why are we trying to dig our heels in? This is Villa Park. This was a fortress. And now, when it matters, we're trying to change it. I think he's overthought it. And I think, ultimately, his tactics contributed greatly to costing us this game. Possibly, and probably costing us top 4 this season. We move on to the players themselves. I could tell in the first 10 minutes they couldn't be arsed. They weren't up for this game. And I don't know whether that's because, they've got the tactics memory and they've thought, maybe they weren't on board with it or whatnot. I don't know. I'm not saying he's lost the dressing or anything. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not that much of an overreactor. But this is just today. I'm reviewing this game on today's merits. And today's merits, those players bottled it and they couldn't be arsed in front of 40+ thousand Aston Villa fans. And it's disgraceful how they played today. You look at the back 5. Konsa had an outrageously bad game for his standards. But again, they don't usually play a back 5. You're just going to switch it up like that. I mean, Matty Cash, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, and I probably have said it about 10 million times. He's not a Premier League footballer for me. Anyway, if he is, he's a relegation team Premier League footballer. 3 in midfield, not a position Tielemans plays often, and it just didn't really work. John McGinn bottled it. Again, he's the captain. He'll come back from this, but he really did bottle it today. He wasn't acting like a leader out there. That red card, again, I don't think it was a straight red card, don't get me wrong, but as an Aston Villa captain, you should know not to put your team in that position. The only player I can think of that used to get away with that was Roy Keane back at Man United, and that's because they had one of the best teams the Premier League's ever seen, and he knew his teammates could drag him out of it. Villa didn't have that team. Villa doesn't have that team. Bailey, I was so disappointed in today. Again, why was Leon Bailey starting this game? Was that, if you're going to play with 2 players that you want to hold up the ball and then spin and try and make runs, is Morgan Rogers not your man for that? He's 6'4". Bailey is not a back-to-goal attacker in any sense of the imagination. He's not good at it. Fair, and I say that, I wouldn't be good. He's clearly better than me. He's better than the average Sunday League player at it. But in terms of what Bailey's good at, it's being out wide, receiving the ball, turning and running directly at his man. You ask him to do this, and like he done today, he gave up, which is pathetic from him, I think. Why did he give up? He did look like he gave up. But again, it's not his style of play. And Watkins probably had about 16 touches in that whole game, to be honest with you. And then we move on to the subs. We go 2-0 down, we bring on Zaniolo, who should never ever see a blade of grass on a Premier League pitch again. And Morgan Rogers is sat on the bench and we're bringing on Zaniolo, and I'm just sick of it because he's so bad. He is so, I don't know, I genuinely do not know what Zaniolo offers Aston Villa. He's petulant, he gives up. For their 3rd goal, I think him and Moreno, who came on, who also looked sloppy, got like dribbled past, and instead of like trying to trap back or make up for the error, Zaniolo stood there, arms in the air, moaning, and then they go and score. He's a petulant child. Ship him back off to Turkey ASAP, Rocky. That boy belongs in Turkey. He belongs nowhere near the Premier League, nowhere near Serie A, nowhere near a top 5 European league at all. He offers nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm sorry, but he does, and I hope he never plays for Villa again. I've said it. I'm sick of him. You know what? Actually, Diaby looked alright when he came on. I wasn't too angry at that sub. We needed a bit of pace in the team, and it did allow, to an extent, Bailey to go out wide. But by that point, John McGinn had acted like a child and been sent off. And then we lose 4-0 because we just gave up in extra time, or extra time, added time. We gave up. But all credit to Spurs. I want to say, if there's any Spurs fans that managed to find their way around to this video to have a little laugh at us Villa fans, we're still above you though. Go beat Chelsea first, then fair enough. But you guys played absolutely outstanding today. Absolutely outstanding. Your back four, fantastic. I hope Mickey van der Ven's all right. Brennan Johnson, he absolutely killed us today. What a signing that was, by the way. But again, Villa bottled it and Spurs turned up. And that's the difference between teams that know how to finish top 6 and teams that don't. And unfortunately, that's what happened to us today. But I'll wheel myself over and we'll swipe across to the rest of the results in the Premier League, because you'll see that it's not just our result that's bad for us, it's what happened around us. I won't go through all of them because I know I've already been ranting on for a long time. Liverpool and City drew, doesn't really affect us, but Brighton won. West Ham actually showed a bit of resolute and came back from 2-0 down to get a draw. Manchester United still getting points on the board. Arsenal won. That's probably about all. Wolves won as well. Again, another team that are doing well, because we switch over to the league table right about now, and you can see we're 2 points above Tottenham. They have that game in hand. Their goal difference is now better than ours, with our goal difference is rapidly dropping. Manchester United move within 8 points of us as well, and you just worry about the way we're playing right now. Wolves are on the up, Brighton are on the up, West Ham again on the up, picking up a point today when we drop points. And you look at that, and the thing that worries me most about Villa is Tottenham go 2-0 down, and you think they can get a result out of this. United go 2-0 down, like they went 2-0 down against Villa, and you think they can get a result out of this. Be honest with yourselves, Villa fans. If you're watching this, comment down below, because if you did, genuinely, I'd be surprised. Did any of you think when we were 2-0 down, we're going to come back and get a result out of this? I didn't think when we were 1-0 down. As soon as we were 1-0 down, I was like, well, that's the game gone then, isn't it? We've just got no cojones. We got none. But yeah, bad week for Villa in terms of everything. Like I say, maybe it's just one game, maybe it's just a blip. I would have us finishing 5th or 6th now. I think United are on the up, and we still have to play Arsenal, Liverpool, City, West Ham. Jesus Christ, who else we got? Wolves, who we've got coming up soon. We've played all of like the lower teams in the league now. We've just got the hard ones left, and Chelsea, we've got to play them again. I genuinely don't know if we're going to get top 5 anymore. I don't know what Emery was thinking. I don't know what the players were thinking today. We're now without John McGinn for 3 games. Are we even going to be able to grind out a result at home against Ajax? We look like the away team at home in 2024. Actually, really, the whole of 2024, we've looked like the away team at home, and it is worrying. But what do you guys think? Are we going to turn it around? Or is this the wheels coming off of the bus of our high-flying season, and how do we move forward from here? But anyway, I will see you guys on Tuesday or Wednesday for the Ajax preview. I'm hoping to finally pump out a special Villa vid as well at some point. But until then, take care of yourselves. Up the Villa. Please, Villa, turn this around and just go on like a mad winning streak and beat City and Arsenal again. Just be nice to everyone. I think we're going to need it for this run-in, boys.